So you right now, you're a founder, you have a team, you've raised a bunch of money, and you're very kind of like aware of what's in the AI space. How are you using AI right now to like over leverage yourself?
My teammates make fun of me because like they have never, I have like ChatGPT everywhere. Like I have it plugged into like every aspect of my workflow.
Really?
Yeah.
Like what?
I'm a full-time Cursor user first.
Okay.
So I code like 100% all of my time in Cursor.
Nice.
Sick. It's amazing, phenomenal tool. I use Warp, which
The terminal.
yeah, the terminal.
AI terminal. I use that as well. Yeah.
Yeah. Superhuman I mean, AI writing for simple things is easy, but I prefer to just write emails myself. Like I also don't write very long emails. Like I'll create snippets and templates and all that kind of stuff. But if I need to, like I'll just throw a bunch of notes into Otter. Like I'll just go on a walk or something. I'll just like talk it out. And I'll just have GPT just like format it into an email that I need to send.
I've only recently started using Otter and game changer. Because now every time we have a brainstorm or we have a meeting, I'm usually the one to take notes. I remember I got advice a year ago. It's like the person who takes the notes is the person who controls like the meeting and who controls the information in your company. And so
That's an interesting point.
Ever since then, I've started taking notes. But once I started using Otter, I was able to actually kind of be present in the meeting instead of being the one focused on taking notes.
Yeah.
And it's there and I can ask it right after what was talked about in the meeting. What are the action items? And so I'm like intentional about saying like out loud to the team, like, okay, so the action items are blah, blah, blah. Because then I can go and ask Otter, what are the action items? And I know it's listed out. I can say, what did so-and-so say about this? And it's just like a good user experience, like an easy way to where I can collect a bunch of data without having to expend the effort of collecting that data myself. And it's like, why does the Apple Watch work so much better than the apps that essentially did the same thing around tracking your steps, tracking your calories, tracking what you ate? In my opinion, it's because it works. Like you don't actually have to think about it. You just have to have the watch on and it'll take care of like the tracking for you.
It also helps when it's a status symbol.
Yeah, makes sense.
You have to get people to want to use these products, right?
Yeah.
It's like 90% of the challenge. So I think like Otter is a great product. They've been in market for years. I mean, like genuinely years, but only in the last year when everyone is like, oh, like, you know, transcription and all these things, like AI is taking over is like, I think that's when they started really popping off.
Yeah.
So yeah, I like Otter. Otter's good, but I think that's a very interesting, like, I like your comparison with the Apple Watch because it's, I mean, the Fitbit does a great job. Like I wear an Oura Ring. I think it does a great job.
Oura Ring's also a status symbol though, especially in SF.
It is
you
now.
can tell when someone, you can tell when someone's wearing an Oura Ring because they're wearing like, especially with the guys who wear like a silver Oura Ring and then a bunch of other silver rings. You can tell one of them isn't actually a fashion ring because it's big and chunky and it has like a weird edge on it.
Yeah, it was cool.
It is.
I mean, that's also the thing with like Rabbit and Tab and all these like, you know, these devices that you're supposed to start carrying around or wearing around. It's like, you got to get people to want it. So it becomes the status symbol first.
It's interesting how you didn't mention humane in that. Like, and I feel like a lot of people, I have the same conversation with a lot of people. None of them mention humane anymore. It's always Rabbit, Tab, and then there's one other. I forgot what it's called. I think some people mention Rewind.
Yeah.
Why do you think that is?
As a founder, I think we're just paying more attention to like Avi and Tab just because he blows up on Twitter all the time. I think he's a good case study for how to market your product. I think he's a very good case study for how to build a really good product too.
Why is he a case study on how to build a good product?
He's his number one user by far. Like all his posts are just him talking about like, I just use this to do this today. Oh, this is what we just built and I use it to do this. Like he's like a super user for his own product.
It's like when people say sell the impact or sell the life, not the feature. Like with the iPod, it's not 2 gigabytes of storage for music. It's 1,000 songs in your pocket in that like original ad that went super viral. Or like with the iPhone, you're not saying here's like a 5 megapixel camera. You're just showing the pictures it's able to take.